Hello, thanks for joining. Okay, this particular practice is quite flowing. It's going to be moving the body in the 3 planes of movement. Only go with what you're comfortable with. By all means, you can sit out the parts that are a bit too extreme, if there are any. But equally, give yourself a challenge in some of these postures, particularly the balance postures. When we come into those, balance is very important to all of us. And the only way you can improve or maintain your balance is by keep balancing and try not to wobble too much. But wobbling is good because it allows the body to develop further. So we're going to start off on our backs, on our lumbar spine. So coming all the way down onto your backs, particularly your lower back, your lumbar spine. And then the first thing we do is bring the knees into the chest, squeeze the knees and release. This is a nice way of gently massaging the lower back. And then drop the feet down, rest the head and shoulders down onto the mat, rest the hands onto the tummy, and just take a few slow, steady breaths here as you try to get yourself centered into the practice. So what that really means is trying to bring your awareness, your brain, your mind, wherever your mind is, bring it into your body and the feelings in your body and the breath. So if you're thinking of other things, if your mind's elsewhere on the issues of the day, on thoughts and things that are concerning you, that's okay, that's pretty normal. So before we get into a practice, we try to recalibrate, to start thinking about the sensations in our body, the sense of grounding, where we are, and our breath. And each time we go through a posture of movement, sometimes our minds wander off. So we just gently guide it back in. I want to be a little bit more mindful in the moment, so to speak. And it's really difficult because the mind will start to wander off and keep wandering off. But the more we do this, the more focus we bring into our practice. So staying here with your hands on your tummy, feeling the breath enter the body. Try to breathe into your tummy to allow the hands to lift up as the belly pushes up, and release. Don't need to take too long here. Just really getting connected again with the body. Feeling if you've got any soreness, any stiffness, any tightness in your body that you will need to be aware of possibly through the practice. Okay, then taking the hands away, we're going to start moving the lower back by rotating the pelvis forwards and backwards. And what that really is breathe in. As you breathe in, push the bottom into the mat, lift up the lower back away from the mat. As you breathe out, flatten the lower back down, tucking the tailbone under. Just a couple of times to get that movement. And then flatten the lower back, tuck the tailbone under, and with the breath in, slowly push into the mat with the legs as you lift the hips off of the mat into bridge, and then slowly lower down, but keeping that tailbone tucked under as you roll down. A couple of these just to lift the spine away from the mat and slowly come back down. And one more. And down. Okay, lifting one leg, grabbing hold of the leg, gliding that stretch on, and then release. Do this a couple of times just to loosen off any stickiness in the back of the leg, and then hold the stretch on, flex the ankle maybe, and gently pull that leg towards you to that point of tension, and then feel how that feels for you, what that sensation feels like. Can you go a little bit deeper maybe? Just hold here for a few breaths. And release, let go. Do the same on the other side. So lift that right leg up, grab hold of something on that leg, maybe the back of the knee, back of the hamstring. Gently pull that stretch on and release. And again. And release and put it on, flex the ankle. Find that point of tension. Try to soften around the hip or anything that's latched on, contracting. And let that go. Okay, take the legs out a little bit wider, take the arms out to the side, and then roll the hips from side to side here. Get a little bit of lateral movement around the lower body. And then come to center, lift the knees up, grab hold of the backs of the legs. If you're okay to back roll, we're going to come up to a seated position. And sit back, straighten the legs. A little bit of sit and reach. So lean forward to the nice flat lower back, take the hands forwards, Find out where you're tense in your body, where the stiffness might be, hamstrings, maybe the lower back. Just hold here for a couple of breaths. And then bend in the knees. We're going to take a side bend to the left. So with the knees bent, taking the left hand down, plant it down, come over to the side and bring the right hand over the top. Shoulders on hips and a few breaths here. Try to breathe into the rib cage. So use the lung to push the ribs from the inside out. Maybe going a bit lower, maybe taking the forearm down if you feel that's okay for you. And then come back up all the way to the other side. So find that stretch here, find the tension, breathe into that lung and settle in as you go. After a couple of breaths, maybe go down a little bit deeper here. Come back up. Okay. Cross the legs maybe, or keep the legs bent. A twist here. So twist to the right, taking the shoulders around to the right. Your left hand can come onto the right knee. If you're in a cross leg position, the same. And a twist to the other side. Just try to gently loosen off the body before we go into bigger movements. Coming onto your fronts into tabletop, a couple of cat cows here. If you don't know what these are, as you breathe in, drop the tummy down, point the bum up, lift the head up slightly. As you breathe out, round through the shoulders, drop the head between the shoulders, tuck the tailbone under. And a few breaths here. You can increase this movement here. So as you breathe out and round through the back, start leaning forwards. Shoulders come before the wrists, and then come back to tabletop, drop the tummy, breathe in, tummy comes down, lean backwards. So just going gently back to the hips. So that's an option there. And then just moving the hips from side to side. Taking the hands one hand length forwards, tucking the toes in. Going to lean back on the hips and then gently push up into a downward dog as you lift the hips up and then send the heels down, looking back at your ankles, and then start stretching individually the legs as you bend one knee, push the other leg, other heel down to the mat. Feeling that tension in the back of the legs and working into that tension. Then drop down onto your knees. Sit your hips back onto your heels, maybe the top of the mat into child pose, stretching out through the arms here. Couple of breaths here. Then slowly inhale, come up, take the shoulders forward of the wrists as you lower the hips down, lift up the crown of the head into a high cobra position here, looking straight ahead or diagonally down, trying to get your shoulder blades away from the ears. Then slowly exhale, come back all the way into this child position. And then come up again, taking the left hand out to the left, to the side, turn the shoulders to the left, and then slide that left hand under the right armpit and across the body as far as you can to find this twist here. Okay, once you find that limit of your range of movement, hold here and take a few breaths. And then slowly glide that left hand back, plant it down on the mat, and then turning to the right, take the right hand up, and slowly then gliding that right hand all the way under and through, finding that range of movement you've got here, finding that twist, that rotation through the spine, and breathing nice and slowly, about 3 to 4 breaths. Draw that hand out. Okay, bring your wrists under your shoulders back into tabletop position. Straightening out through the left leg, tuck the left toes in. I'm going to rotate that left heel down to the mat. Okay, with your right wrist under your shoulder, take the turn to the left here, take the left hand up, and then take that left hand forward into this side stretch here, allowing gravity to pull down on that raised arm, finding that stretch through the left side of the body, grounding through the outer edge of the left foot as well. And then drop the hand down. Same on the other side. So from tabletop, straighten out the right leg, tuck the toes in, and then rotate that heel down. Left wrist is under left shoulder. Turn the shoulders, take the right hand up, find some stability here, and then take that palm forwards, come to this side stretch on this side. Open up the right side of the body, finding those ribs start opening up as you stretch those intercostal muscles. And come back down. Okay, from tabletop now, back into downward dog. So take the hands a little bit further forwards, quite wide through the fingers. Tuck the toes in, lift the hips up and then backwards as you straighten out the legs and push the heels down. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then bending the knees or dropping the knees further down, taking the chest further back. Really stretching out through the upper back here. Pushing into the heels and breathing. And then come forwards again, drop onto your knees, step the left foot forward between the hands, tuck the right toes in, straighten out through that right leg into this runner's lunge. Left knee is on top of the ankle. With a breath in, I'm going to turn the shoulders to the left, take a twist here. And come to the end of the inhale, drop the hand down, and then turn to the right, trying to keep the hips stable. Take that right hand up and down. Push the hands into the mat. Step all the way back into a downward dog, pushing the heels down, stretching through the upper back. And then I'm going to step the right foot forward between the hands. Okay, take a couple of attempts. When you're here, turn the shoulders to the right, take the right hand up on the inhale. Exhale down, keeping the hips stable, turn the shoulders to the left, take the left hand up and down. Okay, dropping onto the left knee. Slowly come to an upright position here, pulling your core in. Inhale the hands up. Go for some height here, but soft in the shoulders. Try not to shrug your shoulders. And then leaning into the lunge. And a little bit deeper here, if that's okay for you. Couple of breaths here. And then exhale, float the hands down. Come back into tabletop, step the left foot forward between the hands. Come to an upright position, pulling your core in again. Inhale the hands up, look forwards. Slowly leaning into this lunge. Take a couple of breaths here, just finding that stretch, tension in the body. And float the hands down. Tucking the right toes in, step to the top of the mat. And with the chin tucked in, roll up to standing. Inhale the hands up. And exhale them down. Okay, stand at the top of your mat. Inhale the hands up. And float the left knee off of the mat for a balance here. Hold in here, a couple of breaths. Maybe straighten that left leg out if you can, if you've got that strength in your hip flexor. And float the hands, float the foot down. Grounded through the left foot, the top of your mat. Inhale the hands up, floating that right knee off of the mat. Find some stability here. Maybe straighten out that right leg, testing your hip flexor and finding the balance on this side. And come back down. From the top of your mat, we're going to step that right foot back just a fraction, not a full lunge type stretch, but probably about the width of the mat. Hands come onto your shoulders, opposite hands come on opposite shoulders. Inhaling here, looking forwards. On an exhale, slowly dip down. So you can see the pelvis and the hips go straight down. Inhale up, straighten the legs. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down, keeping that left knee tracking over the left toes. Inhale up, take the hands up above you, and then exhale. We're going to drop the right hand down to the side and come to a side bend as we come down a little bit, okay? And then inhale up, drop the hands down, turn through 180 degrees. Inhale, hands up nice and high again. Hands come down onto your shoulders and exhale, drop into this split squat lunge here. Inhale up Exhale down. Inhale up and down and up and down. Nice and controlled if you can. And inhale up the last time. Inhale the hands up. Drop the left hand down for a side bend on this side. If you can control that. Inhale up. And then take the hands all the way down to the mat. And push back into a downward dog. And then inhale through into plank. Shoulders on the top of wrists. Then exhale, drop onto your knees, chest, chin. Tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale, lift the head up, lift the chest up into Cobra. And exhale down. Inhale up into tabletop, tucking the toes in. And exhale into a downward dog. Pushing both heels down into the mat now. Looking back at your ankles. And with an inhale, lift the left leg nice and high into three-legged dog. And with an exhale, bring that left knee towards your left elbow. And then inhale, lift up. Exhale across the body, left knee to right elbow. Inhale up and down. Inhaling the right leg up nice and high. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, lift up. Cross the body to the left elbow. And then inhale, up, nice and high. And drop down. Looking up between the hands, maybe a little jump with one leg to the top of the mat, join with the other leg. Bend knee forward bend. Tucking your chin in and then slowly rolling up to a standing position. And as you get to an upright position, roll the shoulders back. Inhale the hands up. Softening the knees and exhale, come down to a bent knee forward bend. Hands come onto your shins. Slow inhale as you lift the chest, look forward, straighten the legs. And exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands down. Inhale, walk back to a plank position, leveling out the body here. Taking a couple of breaths here, maybe pushing backwards and forwards into the toes, rocking forwards and backwards, working both the toe knuckles and the wrists, going a little bit of flexion here. And then drop onto your knees, chest, chin. Tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale up into Cobra. And exhale down. Inhale into tabletop, tucking the toes into the mat. And then exhale, lift the hips up as you straighten the legs out, look back at the ankles and find downward dog. Even pressure into both hands. Pushing into the heels, finding that length in the back. A few breaths here. Okay, inhaling the left leg nice and high into three-legged dog. Come up onto the toes of the right foot to lift the hips off the ground a little bit further to see if you can step the left foot forward between the hands. Okay, and take a couple of steps if that's how it works for you. And then when you're ready, come to an upright position, finding some stability here. Inhaling the hands up. And then on the exhale, float the hands down and come into a lower dip here, lunge dip. Inhale the hands up, straightening the legs. Exhale, come down. Inhale the hands up, straightening the legs. And then come up about halfway down here with the hands coming out to the side and hold here. And breathe. And then inhale the hands up and float the hands down to the top of the mat. Step all the way back into dog. Pedal the legs, a couple of breaths here. Inhale through into tabletop, into plank. Exhale down. Tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale up into Cobra. And exhale down. Inhale to tabletop, tuck the toes in. Exhale into downward dog again. Finding the posture, taking a few breaths to establish a really good foundation here, pushing into the heels, length through the back, looking back through towards the feet. Okay, inhaling the right leg nice and high. Come up onto the toes of the left foot. Stepping the right foot forward between the hands. Ready to inhale all the way up into a high crescent. Okay, finding some stability here. Taking the arms out wide, slowly exhaling, coming down. Inhaling, straightening the legs, lift up. Exhale down, under control, keeping that right knee pointing over the right toes, straight ahead. Inhale, lift up. Exhale down, one more time. Inhale, lift up, drop halfway and hold. Arms out to the side, looking forwards. And then lift the arms up. This time we're going to step forwards to the top of our mat. Come to an upright position. The next inhale, bend the knees, drop the hips, sweep the hands forwards into chair, looking forwards as you find this chair posture. And then slowly exhaling, coming all the way down to a bent knee forward bend. Hands come onto your shins, straighten the legs, lift the chest up, look forwards. And then on an exhale, keeping the legs straight, try to take the head and chest closer towards the floor into a straight leg forward bend. Leaning onto the board of the feet, trying to press the backs of the knees or the knees backwards to find that length through the legs. Lift the sit bones up. Then bend the knees. Step the right leg to the back of the mat and drop down onto the right knee. Coming up to an upright position, pull your tummy in. Inhale the hands up and lean into this lunge now. From here, bring your elbows down so they're shoulder height, palms facing forwards. Pull the elbows back as you lean into this lunge. Holding and breathing. Just feeling the sensations in the body. Checking in where the mind is. If you're wandering off in your thoughts, bring your attention back to the feelings in your body and your breath. Inhaling the hands up, float the hands down to the top of the mat, lift the right knee up, glide back to plank. Okay, rolling over to the outer edge of the right foot, find side plank here, take the left hand up, hold for a couple of breaths, bring that left hand down, rolling all the way through onto the outer edge of the left foot. Now you can have the feet in front of each other or stack the ankles, whatever is more stable for you. Taking that right hand up, find that position and breathe. And come back down into plank, then drop the knees down. Take the knees out to the edges of the mat. Take a child pose here, just to calm things down. Breathing into the tummy, allow the tummy to descend down to the floor. Just taking a moment to recover, regroup, feel what feels like it's just worked. Resting your forehead on the mat. Try to soften anything that's tight, that's active, that's clinging on. And then looking up between your hands. Come to an upright position. And a few cat-cows here. And then step the right foot forward between the hands. And slowly come up to a crescent lunge here. Taking the hands up nice and high. And leading forwards into this lunge here. Taking the hands, the fingertips behind the ears, looking forwards. Pull the elbows back. Finding that stretch across the front of the body. And then inhale the hands up. Exhale, take the hands down towards the mat. Tucking the left toes in, lift the left knee off of the mat and rotate that left heel down. And we're going to inhale, sweep the hands forwards and up into a warrior one. Looking forwards, maybe turning the body just slightly into the left. Clench your fists and bring your arms down like you're going into battle. And really active through the arms here, through the biceps, through the forearms. Pointing that right knee across in front towards the right toes. And hold and breathe. Go from here, inhale the hands up. Then turn into the left slightly with your body and float the right arm in front and the left hand behind to warrior two. Hold here for a couple of breaths, looking directly over the right hand, the right middle finger, grounding through the outer edge of that left foot. And then a reclined warrior, so take that right palm to face up, drop the left hand down behind you, look up at that right hand as it comes all the way up and over. Come back to warrior. Drop the hands down, turn both feet in line, inhale up into a high crescent here. Still breathing nice and slowly, active in your trapezius. Really grounding evenly down through both feet. Then exhale, float the hands all the way down to the floor. Push into the mat to come up into a downward dog. Pedaling out the legs here in dog. And then with an inhale, lift the left leg nice and high. Come up to the toes of the right foot. Exhaling, stepping that left foot forward between the hands and rotating that right heel down. With an inhale, sweep forwards with the arms and up into warrior one here. Clenching the fists, powering up through the arms, taking the arms wide apart in warrior one here. Being proud in this posture. Feeling really grounded, feeling the confidence that this posture exudes. Breathing nice and slowly. And then release the fists. Stay looking straight ahead. Drop the left arm in front as the right hand comes behind. Turn into the right slightly into warrior two. Taking a few breaths here again to establish this posture. Think about foundation. Think about alignment. So grounding through the outer edge of the right foot, pushing your left knee towards your left pinky toe. Shoulders relaxed. Turn the left palm to face up. Drop the right hand back. Lift up into reclined warrior. And then back to warrior. Straight ahead. Drop the hands down. Turn both feet in line. Lift up into high crescent here. And hold this posture. Again, feeling that sense of grounding, feeling the work going on in the arms, in the hips. And then slowly float the hands down to the top of the mat. Step back into downward dog, and then drop down onto your knees. Stepping the left foot to the left side of the left hand. I'm going to inch that right foot back. Now move that left foot out to the side. And then slowly walk the hands forwards to lower the chest down to find some compression in that left hip. And when you're here, hold here. Try to soften through that left hip, that left knee. Taking a few slow, steady breaths here. And then walking the hands backwards to get the hands under the shoulders. Bring that left foot closer in towards the left hand. Lift the right knee up and see if you glide back into a downward dog here. We'll take a vinyasa here. So from an inhale, come all the way forwards into plank. Exhale, knees, chest and chin down, tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale through and up into Cobra, lifting up through the crown of the head. Exhale down. Inhale into tabletop. From here, stepping that right foot to the right side of the right hand. And then heel toe, moving that foot away. Taking the hands a little bit further forwards, lowering into this posture, lowering the chest down to find some compression on the inside of that right hip. When you're here, when you find that compression, soften through the hip, soften through the knee, release any contracting muscles. And then walking the hands slowly back. Bring that right foot closer to the right wrist, tuck the left toes in, lift the left leg up, back into a downward dog. I'm going to drop down onto our knees, bring our knees together, sit back onto the heels, and then walk the hands backwards. And then from here, if you can, lean back, maybe lift the knees off of the mat to stretch out through the front of the feet. And release, fold forwards, crossing your ankles. If you can, roll back onto your bottoms. And in a cross-leg position, we're going to straighten out the right leg, lift the right leg up, hamstring stretch here, flex the ankle into heron. And with a couple of breaths here, pulling that leg closer to you, finding that tension. Keep that leg supported. Take the right hand on the inside of that ankle, thumb points towards the heel. Now we're going to turn our shoulders to the left, take the left hand out to the side, and then try to take this right leg out to the side. To find this twist here, also trying to keep a stretch of that hamstring adductor on the right leg. If your knees bend and it's really difficult, go as far as you can. If you need to, plant the hand down to support you. But try to get either the leg going out, so an adductor hamstring stretch, wherever you are. And then if you've got the stability, try to take the body in the opposite direction. But work within your constraints and what you can achieve. It's all good. Your representation of these postures is unique, as is mine. And you go to wherever you need to go to find that you're stretching, opening the body and come all the way back. Because no matter what it is, whatever it is, it's better than not doing it. Okay, so keeping that leg up, then lean back and take the hands out either side of that leg. This is half boat, so try to find your core engaged now. As you gently lean back, keeping that ankle flexed, keeping the leg as straight as you can. And release. Okay, so we go again on the other side. So straighten out through that left leg, nice and straight, ankle flex, toes coming in towards the shin. And then finding that tension in the hamstring, the back of the knee, the calf, and bringing that leg towards you. And breathe here. And as you breathe out, soften any contracting muscles that might have latched on as we came into this stretch. Okay, taking the left hand on the inside of that foot, thumb pointing to the heel to get a grip of that left leg. Take the right hand away if you can, and then turn to the right, twisting, at the same time taking the leg out to the left. To that point where you find that limit of your range of movement, wherever it may be, and hold and breathe. Because the important thing is we're putting the body into stress, and then we use the breath to calm that situation down. Normally takes about 3 or 4 breaths into that point of stress. Nice, slow, steady breaths. Ocean breaths, constricting the back of your throat to calm that sensation, that stress down. And this is our takeaway from the yoga mat. We use this in life when we find ourselves physically stressed. Our breath instinctively slows down. Bring that leg up in front of you, still with the ankle flexed, lean back, take the hands out either side and hold here. And still maintain this nice, steady breath. Nothing going on. This is cool. I've got this. We simply take a breath. And come back into Sukhasana. Okay. From here, coming down onto your lower back now. Pull the knees in to squeeze the lower back. Give that lumbar area a massage. And we're coming to happy baby. So taking the feet up towards the ceiling, bending the knees, flexing the hips, reach up, grab hold of the inner arches if you can. Pull the knees down either side of the body. Find that hip compression again. And gently massage the lower back by maybe rolling from side to side here, keeping the pressure on the feet, or forwards and backwards. And then dropping the left foot down, lift the right leg up, flex the ankle. Slowly draw that right leg towards you again to feel some tension in your hamstring. Flex the ankle, hold here. Maybe rest your head on the floor and slowly breathe into that tension, but keep the pressure on. And then release. Drop that right foot down. Lift the left leg up, grab hold of something on the back of that leg, flex the ankle, slowly draw that leg towards you, again to that point, your limit of range of movement where everything feels so tight, so stressed, and then stay there. And slow, steady breaths into that space, into that location. You'll notice that after about 3 breaths, you might find the sensations change. You might find you could go a little bit further. And release. Okay, bring both knees into the chest. We're going to back roll up to a seated position, or make your way up to a seated position. And then straighten the legs out into seated staff pose, flex the ankles, bring the pelvis into forward rotation now. So nice and flat in the lower back, leaning forwards with the chest and the chin going forwards. Take the hands down. We did this sit and reach earlier on. You might find now, go a little bit further forwards, but again, one more forward bend here. Try not to put any strain under the lower back. Trying to find the hamstrings that you've just stretched. Trying to find some tension here. Coming forwards into that tension. And when you get that tension, then lower the head. Don't force the head down, but lower the head down. Try to find a release now. Feeling that sense of grounding, feeling the tension, and using again the breath to soften, to calm, to let go. There's no rush in this. There's no particular place you need to get to for the posture. You just need to find some tension and breathe into that space. Then slowly release. Taking the hands just slightly behind you, bend your knees. And when you're ready, with your feet hip width apart, push into the mat with the arms, straighten the arms, lock the arms, lift the hips up, using the glutes to drive the hips up and drop the head back between the shoulders. And using your glutes, your back muscles to push the tummy upwards. And slowly drop down. Okay, returning finally again onto our backs. Bring our knees in up to the chest. Rest the head and the shoulders down onto the mat. Take the arms out nice and wide, keeping the knees nice and high here. Breathing in on an exhale, rotate the hips to the right to allow the knees to come all the way down. Okay, that left arm lifts up. So we're going to inhale that left arm up, nice and straight above us as it comes all the way across the body and down on top of the right forearm. And now pull your belly, your tummy in. Inhale here. Exhale and take that left arm up and back, keeping your core engaged and all the way back down to the mat. As you turn and look back at that left hand and find this twist here. And breathe nice and slowly. You can maybe grab hold of that top leg, top knee, and pull it down towards the floor whilst you keep looking away. Then look up at the ceiling with your core engaged. Pull the knees all the way back to upright position. Then rotate all the way back to the left. Keep the knees quite high. Rotate them down to the left side of the body. Then from here, inhaling that right arm up and all the way across. So the right arm comes to land on the left forearm. Then tightening your tummy on an exhale, taking that right arm back, all the way back across to the right. Turn and look back at that right arm as it lands on the mat. Maybe lift your left hand up, anchoring, clamping down the knees as you settle into this twist here, supine twist. And then turn and look up at the ceiling, release the left hand, pull the knees back into the chest. One more squeeze of the knees. Dropping the feet down. Rest the head and shoulders down, let the hands come onto your tummy. Join the soles of the feet together, let the knees flop to the side. Release anything around the hips here, any contraction, anything tight around the hips. Take a few slow breaths here into the belly. Feeling the belly rise with each breath in and fall on the exhale. And from here, straighten your legs out, take your feet to the bottom corners of the mat, take your hands down the side of the body, back hands on the mat, tuck your chin in and settle into this Shavasana posture now. Finding that grounding through the body and allowing the body to let go, release, relax. Feel that sense of falling, releasing into the ground. Bring your mind into the sensations across your body and into following each breath. from the movement of the breath, movement of the air through the body, the pressure of the ground beneath you, and that sense of release. You can stay here as long as you want in Shavasana, but I'm going to move on and bid you farewell. Goodbye. Thank you for doing this class. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, and I'll see you at some point online or in person. Stay safe. Thank you.